Hey, and welcome back. In this class, we're going to talk about something very interesting. If we see other websites or if we see any other website in general, all of these websites have a home page and they have multiple other pages. And so far, our website has only one single page, which is the index.html page. So for example, let's just say I have my index.html page and I'm just going to create a quick small template. I'm just going to say HTML if I can type it properly. Yeah, I can say head, body. Right, so this is the basic structure of our HTML page, and inside this HTML page, for example, let's just say it's a blog, right? It's my sort of cooking blog. So I'm going to write a heading, my cooking blog, and I'm going to say a couple of smaller headings, which basically, instructions on how to cook a burger, maybe, and fried rice, something like that. Yes, I'm very fond of fast food. Yeah, if I save and if I go back and if I refresh, I have my cooking blog, right? Let's consider this as our home page. Now we want users to be able to click on this text and be able to navigate to that particular page, right? But so far our website only has one single page. Now let's create another page. So what we can do is inside the Visual Studio Code, we can once again open up the Explorer. And by the way, if you want to close and open the Explorer, you can just say Control B, or if you're on Mac, you can say Command B. It basically opens and closes the left panel. And inside it, just click on the file, new file. And now you can name your file anything that you want. The first file must be index.html, like I told you. But the next files or the next any number of files that you're going to create can be of any name. All right. So I'm going to just name my file burger.html. I'm going to click enter, and inside burger, I'm just going to add a couple of text. Recipe of burger. Oops. Inside the head, I'm going to add a title. Burger recipe. All right. And inside the body, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a UL, an ordered list, a list item, and I'm going to add some lorem text. All right. So that is my burger.html. So now how do we access burger.html? One way what we can do is inside the website in the URL that we have, you can clearly see it is website/index.html. If we replace index with burger, and if I click enter, there is my burger text. All right. So I'm just going to add a small heading as well of how to create a burger. All right. If I refresh, I have this. All right. Now what we need to do is we need the users to be able to click from the home page and come to this page. So that we can do by saying, firstly, let's go back to index.html. Perfect. And that we can do by using something called as a tag or an anchor tag. An anchor tag, basically what it does is it anchors or it gives the link of a particular web page. All right. I'm just going to show you how it is. So if I click on A and if I click on tab, an anchor tag, basically what it does is it gives you the link or it gives you the ability to navigate to a particular page or a particular website, right? You can use this to navigate to another website as well. We're going to look at it in the next video, but for now in this video, what we want to do is we want to navigate from the home page to the burger page. All right, the way we can do it is I can open the brackets. I can just say A, I can close the brackets. Yeah, inside the anchor tag, now we are going to add something very important. This is called as an attribute. All right. Okay, what is an attribute? Now, an attribute means we are giving some additional information to the tag, right? An anchor tag by itself is just a tag. It just holds things together, right? A tag basically means it's an opening and it's a closing, and in between we're encapsulating content, right? An anchor basically means, an attribute basically means we're adding additional information to it such that, the information in between it is going to make a lot more sense. Okay. So href basically means, reference or address basically. Inside the href, what we can do is we can just say burger.html, the name of our file, right? And inside the A tag, we can just copy this instructions thing, Control C, Control V, and if I remove this, and if I save and if I go back, you see that it's a lot different, right? It's in purple color, it's also underlined, and it looks a lot more different than a normal text tag. So if I click on it, it navigates us to our burger page. How cool is that? We just have our own multi-page website. Alright, I'm going to explain the anchor tag one more time, so listen very carefully. So an anchor tag, basically what we can do is, with the help of an anchor tag, we can navigate the users from one part of the website to another part of the website. Alright, so just like we talked about in the previous videos, we have a tag which basically is an opening and a closing. Let me get this straight. Yeah, and in between it encapsulates some amount of content, right? For an anchor tag, we have something else called as an attribute. All right, so what an attribute basically does is it adds, or it gives the tag some amount of extra information that is going to make the information between it some valuable, right? Now it's going to make the information now it's going to make the text or the information contained inside the tag have a purpose, right? When we click on this text, what is going to happen? We are going to be navigated to burger.html. Alright, perfect. Let's quickly do the fried rice part as well. Now we are going to create another file. The name is going to be fried rice. Now, one more small thing which I want to mention here is that, you know, whenever you're naming files, there are two different things that you can do in terms of generally naming files in programming. One is whenever you have something that you want to add a space in between. For example, fried rice has a space, right? Fried space rice. Now, if I just do this fried space rice, and if I go back and if I create another anchor tag, and if I say fried rice.html, and remove the heading, if I save, if I go back, if I refresh, it's going to work, right? There is nothing inside the fried rice HTML, so we are unable to see anything. I'm just going to save, go back, refresh. Yeah. All right. So it's going to work if I give space, but it's general programming practice that, you know, you don't use spaces in terms of file names or anything in general in terms of programming. All right. Why do we not use spaces is something you're going to understand as we go further, as we delve a lot more deeper, maybe in terms of when we are learning JavaScript. But in terms of HTML and CSS, I just want to make sure that, you know, you have this fundamental in mind, that whenever we are creating something in programming, space is bad. All right, do not use spaces. Instead, what we can do is we can rename the file, and instead of space, we can use an underline. All right. But in terms of general programming practice with HTML files, what we do is we rename it, and instead of space, we use something called as a hyphen, right? fried-rice.com. And we'll also change this here, because if we don't change it, the browser is going to look for a file which has the name fried space rice. But since we deleted it, we're going to rename it to fried-rice. Save, go back to index.html, refresh, and click on it, and we'll have our fried rice recipe. And also in the URL, it has fried-rice.html. The one more really small thing which I want to show you is, if I add space, right? If I add space, and if I also rename this file to space, and go back, and if I click on the link again, in the URL, you can see that, you know, instead of space, it has this weird %20 thing, right? That is how web browsers kind of like, you know, interpret space, right? Whenever you give a space character, the browser interprets as %20. It's not going to affect with your code, so you don't have to worry about it anything. It's just the way, you know, web browsers intimate URLs, or kind of like, you know, web browsers interpret URLs. All right, so you don't have to worry anything, but your URLs are going to look a lot more weirder. So instead, what you can do is, like we discussed, we can add a hyphen or an underline. Either one is fine. All right, I'm going to just go with a hyphen, because in terms of HTML files, that's a standard practice. Once again, refresh, click on it, and there's our file. All right, so that's how you create multiple page websites. And in the next video, we're going to look into how do we navigate from our website to an external website. All right, I'll see you in the next one.